now because I had to restart the stream. I don't even know if anyone's gonna join back in, but we'll see. I'm trying to get it going. And yeah, welcome back to the stream. I hope you guys can hear me this time though, like for real. You know? Like I hope you guys can hear me well. Trying to see if this actually can even hear me. Okay, now you can hear me. Oh, great. Because last time, the other stream, you couldn't hear me at all. That's great to see and hear. But sadly, we had to start the stream all over again. So guys, please hit the like and subscribe button if you're just joining back in. This is kind of a part 2 to the stream. Hopefully people start joining in a little bit more now. But yeah, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. I hope you guys are joining in. I hope people find my stream again because I had no other choice but to restart it because, like, damn. Like, what else can I do? There was no audio, no nothing. That was unfortunate, though. That was slight technical difficulties.
I was taking more votes away from Donald Trump than the Democrats. But Donald Trump never sued me. And he never said anything nasty about me. He was always very civil. And
Hit the like and subscribe button if you guys are just joining back in. The live stream was having issues.
the Democrats sued me. And they sued me to keep me off the ballot. They spent $10 million. They filed suits in 10 states. And then when I endorsed President Trump...
Guys, I hope you guys are coming back in because the stream was having issues. I just had to end and restart. Oh, guys, not another ad. Well, hit the like and subscribe button if you guys are just joining back in. Love to hear where you guys are coming from. Oh, welcome back. Much appreciated. Bro, I had to restart the thing.
Yes, 2 days ago, they won.
Like, I had to restart the whole thing. I don't know why no one could hear me.
Why did they do that? They did that because they want to confuse the board.
Nah, it really ain't all good, bro. I had to go back to 1 or 2 damn viewers. Like, it sucks. Hopefully I can pick up in the stream again. Can you drop me a like and some more comments?
My name on the ballot. I do not want your vote. I want you to vote for Donald Trump. The only way I'm going to go to Washington is if we get Donald Trump elected.
Hey guys, welcome back to the stream. We're having some difficulties about going live, but I mean we were live, but you couldn't hear me, so hopefully we don't have any more problems this time with any audio issues.
When I was a 10-year-old boy, my uncle was president of the United States, and 6% of Americans had chronic disease. Today, 60% do. When my uncle was president, we spent 0 on chronic disease in this country. There wasn't even medications for any chronic diseases.
There wasn't even medications.
$4.3 trillion every year. It's 5 times our military budget. It is bankrupting our country.
Who do you guys want for president and where are you guys watching from? I love to hear it. I have a poll going on down below again. And yep, leave a like and subscribe button. We're almost at 1,700 subscribers.
When I was president, 3% of Americans were obese. Today, 50% of our children are obese. And this isn't true in other countries. In other countries, it's the same as it was then. In Japan, 3% of the people are obese. It's impacting our country because we're mass poisoning ourselves. And we're poisoning our children. There's 1,000 There's 1,000 ingredients in our food that are illegal in Europe. And the problem is not those ingredients. The problem
He's
is
not lying. I'm living in Europe right now. I'm live in Barcelona, Spain.
And the only president who's going to clean that up is Donald J. Trump. We have the sickest children in the world. When I was a kid, the autism rates, and today in my generation, 70-year-old men, 1 in 10,000 of us has autism. In my children's generation, it's 1 in every 34 children. 1 in every 24 in California. When I was a kid, juvenile diabetes was unknown. The typical pediatrician would see 1 case of diabetes in his entire career, a 40 or 50-year career. Today, 1 out of every 3 children who walks through his office door is diabetic or pre-diabetic.
Guys, exactly. I'm in Spain, so you're going to get the Spanish ads. Let me know where you guys are coming from.
We are killing our kids. 40% of our kids are on antidepressants.
Yeah, don't take antidepressants, guys. They're generally not really good for you.
Testosterone levels have dropped 50%. American girls are reaching puberty at 10 to 13 years old, 6 years younger than they were a generation ago. We are destroying these children. I had 11 brothers and sisters. I had 70 first cousins. I never knew anybody with a peanut allergy. Why do 5 of my kids have peanut allergies? Why do all of our kids have eczema and asthma and allergies? This is not normal. I know what a normal child looks like. And our kids today are injured and they're damaged. And they're damaged because we're being poisoned. And that comes from corruption. Oh. I started working on this issue 19 years ago. And for 19 years, I have got every morning, without one exception, I have said prayer to God to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic.
I hate the dumb people that say bad stuff about him.
On August 23rd of this year, God sent me Donald J. Trump. And Donald Trump said to me in Milwaukee, we met for 2.5 hours, and he said, I want you to join my campaign and unify our efforts. And I'm going to end the foreign wars, the addiction to war. The $200 billion that we sent to Ukraine, we're going to spend it here in the United States. And he told me, we're going to end the censorship. We're going to end the surveillance. We're going to end the weaponization of our enforcement agencies against the American people. And he knew that my uncle, Ted Kennedy, wrote Title IX to make sure that women's sports are protected in schools. And he said, we're going to end the efforts of the Democratic Party, the war that they're making on women's sports in schools.
No men in women's
And
sports.
he said, we're going to end the chronic disease epidemic, and we are going to make America healthy again. Oh, don't you want a president who's going to get the toxins out of our food Don't you want a president who's going to end the corruption in Washington, D.C.? And don't you want a president who's going to end all the foreign wars that are sucking away our money and our... And don't you want a president who's going to end the censorship, end the surveillance, and protect the Constitution of the United States? And don't you want a president who's going to make this a free country again, where we treasure our liberties? A president who's going to make America healthy again? A president who's going to make America great again? And let's go to the polls on Tuesday and deliver a landslide for Donald J. Trump. Thank you all very much.
Did you know that animals listen to dominating tactics because they're scared? If you want to have a mindful relationship with your animal, then you might want to watch this video. In this video, I'm going to share with you the mindful approach that you can start using today to develop a strong relationship between you and your animal, so that you can have an inspired relationship instead of one that's based on fear. Hi, my name is James French, and growing up wasn't always easy around my house. However,
What the hell are we watching?
always grateful.
This is an ad. Sorry, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, time has arrived. Here's my last 2024 election official forecast, covering every single state. First, filling this out from the western side of the United States to the eastern side, I will be leaving the swing states blank. We will then be examining the key swing states. Clearly, regarding the election, there are many clearly defined states. I will offer my opinion on some possible margins in these states. I will begin with Washington. At least Kamala Harris will be winning Washington rather effortlessly, probably by around 14 or 15 points. Kamala Harris will most likely be winning Oregon, maybe with a little less margin, maybe 9-10 points, somewhere around there. Polls taken in Oregon have not been plentiful. Clearly, California will go to Kamala Harris. Still, I believe it will be by not much less than 2020. Biden won it by 27. Harris winning it will probably be around 20 or 21, maybe a 22.
Hit the like and
23.
subscribe button if you guys are just joining in. We're almost at
Clearly, we will be
2,000
traveling to
subscribers.
Iowa.
We're almost at
Donald Trump
1,700
will
subscribers.
win Idaho rather easily. Trump will win Montana.
We gotta save the
The
squirrels.
Senate race makes Montana relevant, and Trump is expected to win it by a margin larger than his 2021. She won't be able to lose if he scores 18 or 19 points. Donald Trump will win quite effortlessly in Wyoming. Donald Trump will find North Dakota rather easy. Donald Trump will easily win South Dakota. You have Nebraska.
I always remind them about the riots. 100%. I have multiple videos talking about the riots, about how that was 100 times worse than January 6th.
Kansas will be heading to Donald Trump.
100 times worse than Jan 6th. They burnt down an entire city. No one did anything about it. In fact, they said it was good on the news. They said, oh, poor George Floyd. Poor George Floyd. They said, poor George Floyd. And then they burnt down the entire city with a smile on their face.
It will be Oklahoma's choice. Texas is going to Donald Trump. Quite large state liberals are. They have been attempting to flip it, but Trump seems to be widening the margin he gained in 2020, that which he won by roughly 5.8. Given the liberal migration to Texas from costly states like California and New York, it looks like he might win by roughly 7 or 8, which is significant. Clearly, Alaska will be going to Trump. We will now find the margin. Perhaps 8 or 9, the margin could be shockingly close. I mean, I suppose 2020's score was 10. Perhaps it will get overdone out to 12 or 13. Who knows? Hawaii will be heading to Kamala. She will
No,
also
I
be
don't have
heading
a
to
Trump
Colorado.
impression, honestly, bro.
Regarding
I'm not good at
Colorado, It
impressions.
resembled almost a swing state in 2016. There have been a lot of liberals arriving in the state. For Harris, I estimate a minimum 12 or 13 point win. Utah
Sorry,
will be
Garrett.
going to
I
Donald
really
Trump,
can't
to
do a
be
Trump
honest.
impression.
We shall leave New Mexico.
But vote
empty.
Donald. No, I
Trump
don't
went to
even
that
know how to
state
try
on
it.
Halloween. One could find some possible wiggle room.
What would I do?
I'm going
How
to
would
go
I do
into
that?
More of a thorough consideration on that. In terms of it, Trump will easily win Louisiana. Trump's going to find Arkansas quite easy. Donald Trump will easily win Mississippi. Missouri, I suppose the Senate race is rather competitive. Holly ought to win rather easily. Trump is destined to prevail. Donald Trump should win Iowa by at least
Hit
8
the
or
like
9
and
points.
subscribe button. We're almost at
We will be leaving
1,700
Minnesota blank.
subscribers,
We
guys.
marked Wisconsin as blank. We do have Illinois, and Kamala Harris might win there maybe by 11 or 12. Though it would be a
I'm
tighter
going live
margin,
on the
I would
election
say
day. Don't
perhaps
miss it.
somewhat more than that. Then it was in 2020, much as many of these liberal states will find in 2024. And this is why the popular vote could start to change to Donald Trump. And in terms
Because
of
I
that
want
as well,
Kamala Harris as
Kentucky is essentially
president.
exactly.
Woo!
Donald Trump will quite naturally be in this state. Trump will win Tennessee without much effort. Trump will win Alabama with little effort. Yet another state is Florida. 2020 was a swing state. It is not Donald Trump now, the obvious preferred in Florida. What will the margin be is the only query left. I figure it's at least 8 or 9 points. You consider the early voting trends.
Florida's gonna win.
Looking at the voter registration, with Republicans having roughly a 7 to an 8 point advantage in the independents. As
No,
we observed
Florida's
in
gonna win for
2016
Trump.
and
Don't play.
2020, heading for Trump in the state of Florida looks to be. Trump most likely wins the state by a notable margin. Many others still believe it will be rather close. Most certainly it will not be. Recently, there has also been a polling shift whereby Trump is rising as even
It's
more
called
preferred.
internet trolling.
Furthermore, I doubt they are dragging the state in terms of their sample technique. Though polls already indicate he will win by roughly 7.5 to 8 points, I believe Trump will surpass the polls. He will most likely come out on top by around 10 or 11. We are going to blank Georgia. We do have South Carolina headed for Donald Trump. We will be blanking North Carolina and Virginia when we depart. We do have Trump's West Virginia under control. Ohio is under travel to Trump. I came upon an interesting poll.
Ohio is
Stories
Trump
of
for
an Ohio
sure.
Trump +3 abound. It is completely absurd. Donald Trump scored 8 points to win Ohio in an environment far worse in 2020. In terms of perhaps there are states that swing to the left, but Trump going from +8 to +3 in 2024 in a far better environment, more favorable conditions for him. It's not apples to apples, simply ridiculous. He has scored roughly 67 points on most of the Ohio polls, with a larger margin than he did in
Welcome
2016
back, guys.
and
Sorry the last
2020.
stream was
Maybe
kind
by
of
around
went mute at the
99.5
end. I had to
points.
restart
He
it.
will end up winning
So hit the
Ohio.
like and subscribe
So,
button.
benefiting the Senate race with
We're
Bernie
almost at
Sanders.
1,700
Indiana is heading to
subscribers.
Donald Trump indeed.
I'm
New
not one of
York
these
among the
big
first states to
YouTubers
be
like
called
Logan
blank,
Paul. I
so
appreciate
Wisconsin,
every
Michigan,
one of you guys, and I
Pennsylvania.
remember your
Blank is
names.
Indiana. You do have New York, a state some Republicans have discussed perhaps. You know, this is a swing state that could have possibly
This is Donald
occurred.
J. Trump. Look at
Not going to
that.
happen.
Can you read? That means Harris doesn't have a
victory would probably be
chance.
around a 13.1. That is a notable cut. Though it's not a Trump victory, Biden prevailed by 23 and goes down to 13. And I doubt it will fall inside single-digit range. Then turn down to
Donald
New
Trump
Hampshire.
deserves to win. He survived a bullet. He survived fake court cases and legal battles. Donald J. Trump survived everything you couldn't never survive in your life.
Maybe under 10. Though it will be drastically cut. Biden won it around 20 years ago. 2 states are New Jersey and New York. Though it is something if you are the Republicans considering how many
He
times
will
they've
win
lost
North
it.
Carolina.
You wanna get
Anyone
that
who
since
says
Trump
differently
scored
is
a
crazy. I
significant
agree.
amount of popular vote after it matters a lot. Along with Massachusetts, all very clear states Kamala Harris will win. You also have Delaware, Maryland, D.C., Rhode Island, and talking about Maine, the Maine at large, is fascinating. I would wish to discuss it. You can argue as a swing state, but is it not what I believe? Simply put, polling is not conducted in Maine, or is rather rare. Some quite fascinating polling was done. Though it was essentially a student poll, in the past 2 cycles it was quite accurate. And Trump was up by
I already
8.
said it was just a little
I'm
bit
not
of a
stating
joke and a
Trump's going to
troll.
win Maine at large by 8. He lost this.
He
in
will win
2018.
North Carolina.
But
He
given
will win
Maine's very low
Arizona.
general poll count, I believe it's most likely closer than most people would think. Regarding the 1st district, Kamala Harris is locked in there. Regarding the 2nd district, Trump will most certainly rule there. Though that's quite likely how those electoral votes wind up being split. The 1st district is more of a lock for
Hit the
Harris
like and
than the 2nd
subscribe button
district
if you
is for
guys are
Trump.
just joining in. 6
I will
more
also vote in the
subscribers and
2nd
we're at
district in Nebraska.
1,700, guys.
Another electoral vote.
Much appreciated. Love each and every one of you
is
guys.
most
Let me know where you're
likely going
coming
to Kamala
from
Harris,
and hit the like and
maybe by
subscribe
7 or 8
button.
points.
Who do you want for president?
That is the Omaha region. It is just a minor populated area. Clearly, given it's only 1 district, and Harris, population-wise, the district swung more left. She will win that, or I would expect her to win that, but right now we will go through all the swing states. We're going to go here and offer my official prediction. Some of these are fringe, some of these are real swing states. Regarding Nevada, I believe Donald Trump will very barely prevail, maybe by less than a point. Based on polling, Donald Trump, based on even a recent history, we saw Republicans make ground in 2020, only lose by 2.5. And we saw rather good polls in terms of their accuracy in 2021. It could be the closest major swing state out of the 7 that the media talks about. The polls now indicate Donald Trump's up by about 1. Polls like the Atlas one, showing Trump's up by 4, have shown Nevada seems to be going toward Trump. Early voting in Clark County was rather high. Republicans keep those good early vote totals since they have gained advantage going into Election Day. Trump narrowly wins Nevada, in my opinion. Just 6 electoral votes total here. Out of the 7 major swing states, it would be the least significant. Yet, I believe Donald Trump wins that state. It will be quite near. One you could argue is this one. Right now it is about 50-50. While some of them are 50-50,
I agree.
Nevada is difficult to get a complete picture on. I am handing it to Donald
Anyone
Trump.
here give me one
Coming out of
economic
Arizona,
policy
that state
for
is
Harris?
another
I'll
one
give you
Donald Trump
5
should
for
win by
Trump.
somewhat
I'll
more
wait.
margin than Nevada.
What about
Regarding the Senate,
no
I
tax on
consider
tips like for
3.5
Camilla?
points, which might help Carrie Lake win by
What about
perhaps
when
half a
Camilla
point.
says no tax
But
on
Donald
tips?
Trump is up in all the polls regarding Arizona. Right now, he's that preferred. For 2 months now, I would say.
Hit the like and subscribe button.
Liberals seem to have given up Arizona. with
25,000 for first-time
And
home
Donald
buyers
Trump
would
most
increase
certainly
all the
will
home
inherit that
prices
state.
and interest
To
rates
quote the
even
Arizona
more.
polls, they underachieved Trump. They underpulled Trump back in 2020, rather modestly, in my opinion.
I don't think that is
Now,
Trump's
Trump is up in
policy. That's not a
practically
good
all of
policy,
them.
I don't think.
He's around
That's going to
1.5.
inflate the
Arizona
market, I
is
think.
hitting
I used to
Trump.
work as a realtor, guys. I know a
With
bit
their
about
emphasis
this.
on perhaps in North Carolina, along with the Rust Belt, the Harris campaign seems to have given up Arizona, and to some degree, Nevada. Donald Trump finishes up winning Arizona, in my opinion. Now, in terms of New Mexico, that is a state I believe Kamala Harris is capable of clinging to, maybe by 4 or 5 points. I do believe it could be closer than most would have guessed. The state is
Yeah, I
a
know that's Trump's
Trump will excel,
policy.
in my opinion. Trump holding the gathering.
It was just a
Halloween
joke.
will somewhat help. Halloween is a holiday.
But what do you
So,
guys
I
think
doubt
about the
this is just a
25,000
difference
first-time
overall.
home buyer
And
credit
certainly
from
have some worried
Miss
people.
Harris?
Why is one visiting New Mexico? Go there.
Because I think it will
Especially
raise the
when
prices,
It does not really
and also
make
I
sense.
believe the interest rates will be
Internal
higher
polls
under
look far
Harris.
I spotted Harris +5, Rasmussen. I have other New Mexico polls here. For Kamala, they're all have been 5 or 6 point leads. Regarding
That can
she
pass.
keeps
The
carrying state.
Republicans are in the
Something
House.
to it.
If the Republicans
Regarding
are all in the
Minnesota,
House and the
Minnesota
Congress,
would
it
be
can
a shockingly
absolutely
close
pass.
state. Kamala Harris.
Even
ends up leading on Minnesota.
Kamala Harris
Presumably
wants
by
that.
around 4 points would be my estimate.
She even wants
Maybe
no
5
tax on
points.
tips. You want to pay more taxes? Is that it? Like, damn.
This is a state that will definitely get closer. It was a
They
swing
will.
state once again in 2016.
Just like the
That
Democrats
was a 1 point
did.
variation. To be honest, should it go to Trump, it wouldn't totally surprise me. It is among those extra swing states. Although Virginia, Minnesota, and New Hampshire seem to be the extra swing states, I do believe Kamala Harris can hold on to Minnesota and win perhaps.
America
by
is
2
literally
or 4
red. It's
point
just
margin.
these small little places up here that really, and up here that always
Though
comment on here
I
negativity.
would want to say comfortably, I believe the victory there will be roughly 3.5 to 4 point range. Out of Georgia, we have rather
Bro,
accurate polls.
the people vote, but the popular vote doesn't decide the president. It's the electoral college. We're looking at the electoral college here, not the popular vote. This is the electoral college, not the popular
Losing either
vote.
of them would be quite unexpected at this point. Though it's mostly based on the Rust Belt, we're not discussing her sweeping the Rust Belt, or maybe North Carolina.
Yeah, you can't get a
We're
house to a
not looking at Virginia.
25K where I'm
Looking at
from.
North Carolina, another state I believe Donald Trump would win, is especially in 2020. Donald Trump won the state under far more difficult circumstances than in 2016. He secured it just by 1.3. It approached closer. 2 points close. 2 points closer than in
This guy's
2016.
not even inside the
They will
United
debate this
States
as
and he's
well.
saying
It
Kalama.
moved in
He has
proximity.
an Arabic
Why
name.
couldn't it flip right now?
But it doesn't really
And when we
matter.
discuss
I
the
want Donald
migration
Trump,
into
and
the
I'm
state
for
from the
America,
more
not for
expensive
whatever
states people
country
are
you're
moving
for.
from, like in New York down to North Carolina, I do believe the state is becoming somewhat more liberal. But
I'm
given
for
his
America.
popularity rising over the past
I'm not
5
for
years,
Arab.
I believe Trump will be able to
Not
seize
for
that.
Arabia. I'm for
Looking at
America.
Trump's approval rating and what people believe it to be
I'm
now,
just trolling on you guys a
based
little
on the
bit, but
4 years
obviously
he
I'm
spent
for
in office,
America.
one is quite nostalgic for him. Furthermore, even if perhaps more
Where are you
liberals
guys coming
dominated
from?
the
I love to
state
hear it.
over the past
What
4
state are you
years,
guys
I
in?
believe that
What
if Trump
country are you
wins
guys
this
in?
state
Hit the like and
in
subscribe
2016
button.
and 2020, it will not be sufficient to offset his growing popularity after already winning the state by 2 points. It will most likely be a 2.5 to a 3-point win. He won it 3 points back in 2016. He gained 1 point in 2020. From North Carolina, I believe it returns to roughly 2.5-point triumph for Donald Trump. Donald Trump would thus come to be at 268. And at this moment, that is the whole liberal
Invest
case.
in the United
And this is, I
States.
believe, Harris's road of choice. We will be looking at Virginia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania would be among
Iranian
others.
love Trump.
And concerning Virginia, I simply cannot do it.
Boston
really
for
can't.
Trump.
It will be quite
Trump
close, I
from
believe.
Uruguay.
People largely expect
Let
it
me
to
know
be
where you
rather
guys are
close.
coming from and who you
Now,
want for
some people
president.
believe it will be 5 or 6
Spain
points.
loves Trump.
Based on
I'm in
Virginia, I believe it
Spain.
could be 3.5 to 4.
But I'm an American citizen, so I voted for Donald J. Trump.
Those are sort of the two
Maine
states
for Trump.
where past history would
Shout
say
out Maine.
Minnesota is more
Shout out
conservative.
Maine. But
But you
I
have
think
the
your
junction
state's blue,
factor
but
in
shout out Maine. You
2021.
guys are
And
helping.
he's visiting Virginia rather than Minnesota. That would thus indicate
Wasco,
that the Trump
Wisconsin
campaign
for
clearly
Trump.
believes their polls in
Love you,
Virginia
Spain.
are more favorable
Yep,
than
shout out
those in
Barcelona,
Minnesota.
Spain, guys. Hit the
Virginia,
like and
he is
subscribe
therefore having a
button.
rally there
Rhode
too.
Island for
It's
Trump.
going to be rather near. Trump may be able to overcome losing the state by whatever it was, 8 or 9 points, though I'm
New
not
York
sure.
is Trump
Though it's a
country.
lot to make
Germany
up in
for
Virginia,
Trump.
it
While
will be
Keisha is going to be
quite
dead.
close. And there will be much discussion.
No
on
clue
it
what that
because
means,
swing
but hit the
state
like
will
and
be
subscribe button.
2028.
We're almost at
In
1,700
2016, it was
subscribers.
rather
Much
quite
appreciated.
close. Biden widened the lead greatly, and I believe it will be quite close once more.
It's funny how
I
people
cannot
are voting
now
for
forecast
Camilla
it
when
for
she
Trump,
nor
even if it
Biden
wouldn't
did
be
anything
shocking
useful
at all
for
if Trump
America. Where's
prevailed.
Trump? Did a
By 11
lot.
or 12
So
o'clock at
Trump.
night,
I
you
did
know,
sub
if Trump won this state,
2024
or we were
Trump
getting
for
rather big
Arizona.
numbers,
Shout out
we're talking about a
Arizona.
very simple
We love
Trump
you,
victory.
Arizona. I got family in
Regarding
Phoenix.
that, Virginia is going to show a lot of indicators.
The
You
West
see
World
that
for
New Hampshire,
Camilla.
another state right now,
You mean the
is-
Middle
I just
East
cannot
where
do
you're
it.
at?
I have to hand it to
Lawful
Harris. It is going to be rather
permit
close.
resident
Though
here
New Hampshire
supporting Trump.
boasts
Just
a lot of
donated to the
freedom,
campaign since I
believe
can't
Harris
vote.
extremely limits the state.
Awesome, man. I love to
Possibly by
hear
just 2
that.
or
That's
3
really
points.
cool. I never got a
Perhaps it's
comment
even
like
closer,
that.
But I do believe
No clue
that
what
many
this
of those who
means.
possess
Just
freedom
like and
have a slight
subscribe.
left-leaning.
I'm brain dead for
Given the
Trump.
polls, it's shocking that
Yeah,
Trump
stop
did
trying to
not
make
visit
Trump
New
supporters
Hampshire,
look bad. It's
especially in light
Biden
of New
supporters
Mexico.
like you that call us
To me,
trash.
the electoral vote difference between New Hampshire and
No
New Mexico
American
is just
citizen
one.
or no person
When we
living in
only have
America,
public
rather
polls,
you were
you
born
would
there or
think New
not, is
Hampshire, the
trash.
polls are 3 or 4 points better than New Mexico.
You are not
The
trash.
internals
You are
are absent
valued
from us.
people.
Perhaps then the internals in New Hampshire are far worse than public polling. Recently, a few polls have come rather near. One poll had Trump up by around half a point. Though you have a Rasmussen Harris +1, it was not included into the actual clear political aggregate. You scored another 3 Harris plus. These fall right on the margin. One could say that is feasible. I'm staring at Virginia and New Hampshire. Those would be the 2 states where, should Trump be successful in winning them, you would not require any of the others. Right now, Trump is at 268. Nebraska's winner-take-all was hotly debated for this reason as well. Obviously then, it's just 5 electoral votes. Trump would be at 269 and has assured Nebraska at large a victory. Trump is thus trying to expand that map, maybe take Virginia to where you are at the margin already.
One man's
Any of the
trash
other
is another
states.
man's treasure.
At least he would tie.
Crump will never see the White House again.
I have seen a lot of
Crump,
people debate
Donald
it.
J. Crump will see the
Michigan
White
is heading
House.
one direction.
Honestly, Crump is
They have
winning.
Wisconsin and Pennsylvania going the other way, or Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin and Michigan going one way, and Pennsylvania heading the
Donald
other way.
J. Crump.
Regarding Pennsylvania, most people believe that with these
Guys, I'm going to be
three
live
West
streaming the
states,
election.
they
I got a
will
whole
be quite,
playlist I'm
quite
going to set
near
up when
in
Trump
terms of the
wins.
margin.
I'm going to be
Albeit
bopping to
by a
all the
very
different
small
songs.
margin. Out of the 3,
But if
Pennsylvania
Camilla
is
wins, I'm just going to
regarded
play
as the
some
most
crappy
competitive.
music that represents
Thus,
her, like some
and that's
Tampon
not
10
a
music.
guarantee by the manner.
Johnny needs to change
Many
his
have expressed
tampon.
perhaps Pennsylvania goes left. Wisconsin goes right.
Is this a rage bait?
Regarding all the polls, however, based
I'm
on
the
past
king of
election
rage
data,
baiting,
we
baby.
believe Pennsylvania will very gently
We
lean
want
toward
Harris for
Donald Trump,
president.
and I believe Pennsylvania will be the state. Among those three states,
Julian,
is
it's
what I
hard
mean.
to tell.
Pennsylvania,
Reality and
North Carolina, and
satire
Georgia
have
are it.
fused.
We could address Virginia.
Absolutely. I'm a mix of
We can
reality
discuss
and
some of the other
satire.
states in the Sun
Go
Belt,
Trump.
and Nevada, and Arizona.
Johnny
But those
is
three
a
states,
tampon.
Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia, rule here.
Guys.
2 months ago, I mentioned this. Donald Trump's three states of choice will be those three that will prevail in this contest. And with all the effort Pennsylvanian people have put into it,
Well,
this truly
there's
is more of a
multiple ways how
storybook.
fraud has already been committed. I mean, first way is no voter ID. How is that allowed? I've never heard of any country in the world letting people vote with no ID. That's in 13 states they let you do that. That's proven fraud one way. Second way is illegals are voting. Third way is that the voting machines are being rigged and people are... And yeah, fourth way is that people are burning ballots. But there's multiple ways I'll talk about. But do you have any rebuke for anything that I said so far? Do you disagree with any of the methods of fraud I just said? Like, let me know.
He barely turned his head, thus the only reason he is alive. He returns to PA and Butler in a rural area, draws over 100,000 and brings Elon Musk there. One of the most epic events we have seen on a campaign trail truly ever.
I
in
mean,
American
13
history.
states without
How about
ID.
that
Anyone
state
can vote.
Donald
If you
Trump
guys are coming
punches
from
it
Mexico or Canada,
That
go
is
vote in
the
those
cycle
states.
that
No
will
ID
truly be
needed.
a
No ID
storybook.
needed. Go ahead.
And I do believe Donald Trump will emerge in that condition. And I'm
No
suppose some
ID
people
needed.
will find it shocking as well.
Get your
Regarding the
12-year-olds,
Trump win,
get your
I
kids,
believe
get
it
your
will be
nephews,
roughly
get all of
2,
them to vote.
Maybe more than 2 points. Currently leading the polls in Pennsylvania is Trump. We now might see some more
Proven
updates.
fraud.
He might wind up going
Proven
somewhat down.
fraud.
Right now, I believe he is up by 0.3
Mexican
or
Vit
0.4.
Trump.
And when it comes to Wisconsin and Michigan, I do believe Pennsylvania is the one pushing Donald Trump over. Wisconsin is, I would say, more conservative than Michigan. That is, I believe, a rather common belief that is neither weird or anything else like
Proven
that.
fraud.
Donald Trump
Proven
certainly
fraud.
also sees
Proven
Wisconsin,
fraud.
in my
Proven
opinion.
fraud.
Now, the thing about Wisconsin
Actually, I
is
speak
had a
better
general
proper
sense
English than you. That's
that
why I
this
have a
cycle
YouTube
Wisconsin
channel and
would
you're
be
hiding
more
behind a
conservative than
faceless
Pennsylvania.
page.
Though we are discussing rather close margins, the polling would not always
Mexican
apply.
American Vit
Based on polls
Twop.
taken in
Sorry,
Wisconsin,
small
Harris right now
phone
seems to be
key
up about
ord.
0.2. And a lot of that could be due to CNN plus 6
13
poll,
states,
or
no
was that
voter
poll in
ID, no
Michigan?
nothing. You can just walk in there and
Uncertain
vote
about
for
it.
whoever you want to. You
Still,
don't
I
need
believe
nothing.
Wisconsin to be
Don't
another
need
state.
nothing.
Donald Trump
Proper
winning made me
English.
more confident than Michigan's outcome.
Yeah, well, I'm actually,
Michigan, to me, is the one state you are currently teetering in.
I'm actually an
We've got some
American
Harris
citizen,
surveys here. There was a
unlike
larger
you.
story going forward 2 or 3 months, outside of like the past 2 or 3 weeks, whereby Trump went ahead and then recently Harris has stepped in. But entering the fall, it was Michigan throughout the whole
All you
summer.
Harris haters,
Harris
I'm
is
laughing
leading all
at
the
you
surveys.
Harris haters. I didn't
She
prove
seems
anything
better.
wrong.
Wisconsin is a very, very, very
Trump
slight tilt to
2024.
Harris that became a Trump-leaning point of view. Then
Let's go
Pennsylvania
New
became
Mexico.
a Republican state. Given 19 electoral votes, Pennsylvania seems to be the easiest state for Trump to win. Also the most crucial one. Wisconsin would then be it. It would next be
The hell are you talking about?
Regarding
People
Michigan, I
do
also
it in
see
those
it as a pure
states. It's
toss-up.
all over Twitter.
I also have Donald Trump, Michigan here. I'll say this. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rust Belt states...
Yeah, you
split
Harris
just because the
haters, you
margins
don't
are
like
so
Harris?
thin.
I didn't know you were
But
a
I do
Harris
believe
supporter.
Donald
I'm
Trump will
confused.
also take
Do you
Michigan.
like Harris?
Trump
You
has
talking
been
shit
pretty
because you
close
like
for 2
Harris or
months
you
now.
don't like Harris? I'm
It's not
confused.
exactly,
You're just talking shit. You're just internet trolls.
If I have him at
I'm just
312,
fucking with you.
312,
You love
312,
Harris. I
indeed,
know
Trump's
it.
made some ground in Virginia. He is organizing a rally there. He has some
Make
ground
IA
under
pay
cover of
taxes.
Individuals are discussing it right now. Those are the 2 states, maybe in Minnesota.
The Android
Primarily
keyboard
those 2
doesn't like
states
my
are
words to
looking
come
at
out
for
properly.
maybe Trump to extend
I feel you
the
on that.
Though I'm not going to do it. It was a little bit
I'm sharp
tempting
as a
to
whistle.
possibly give Kamala Harris Michigan and split the Rust Belt. In Michigan, it seems to be roughly 50-50, and Trump ultimately finishes winning Michigan. Jill Stein is going to provide some...
What do
very
you liberal
assistance.
Democrat supporters
Given
think
what we
about
observed in
this?
2016, Trump very narrowly wins Michigan by 0.3. About 2 in 2020, he lost to Biden. It is most
Iran
definitely
won't
more
meet
liberal
with a
than the
woman
other 2 Rust Belt
because
states, though.
Iran doesn't
However, I
respect the
believe
woman.
Donald Trump
Iranians would
ultimately
never
prevails
take
in that
advice.
state.
Islamic
Maybe by
Iranians would
0.3
never
or
take advice from a
0.4.
woman. No
I would
offense.
suppose
They're
Michigan
not going to
and
meet with the
Nevada are
woman
the two
president.
closest
A lot of the
states.
other country
It might
leaders
even
would
be
never meet
referring
with the
to
woman.
Michigan being closer than
It's a
Nevada.
part of their religion and a part of
Based
their
on some of
culture. They
those
don't really
early
take
voting
advice
figures,
or leadership
Trump might
skills
win
from
Nevada
women.
by around a point
I
to a
don't
point and a
personally think
half.
that's a good idea in every way, but they do. That's what they believe. I'm not saying I believe it, but that's for Iran.
Furthermore, some of the polls we have seen show Trump's up by 3 or 4.
Time
It's
for a
just difficult
crisp
to get a
MAGA
sense of
hat.
in this state.
Man, MAGA
This
hats are
country is simply
$50 a
independent
piece. I got
state.
2 of these MAGA
Right now, though,
hats.
you're looking at Arizona and Georgia. I have those 2 states under Trump by somewhat more margin than any other swing state. By roughly 3 to 3.5 points, I'm loving Arizona and Georgia. Based on present polling, some claim North Carolina could be simpler than Georgia and Arizona. And Trump lost Georgia. He won North Carolina. That involves a lot of elements. For Trump in a state like Georgia, the early voting results showing minority votes.
Guys, go look this up on YouTube. All of Donald J. Trump's hats are made in America by American citizens. He has a whole YouTube video about it.
And Arizona will be similarly as well. Then it boils down to a Pennsylvania, right? It makes no difference if you lose in Nevada. Even if you lose in Nevada, you win Pennsylvania if you acquire every Sunbelt state.
Then yours is fake. If yours says made in China, yours is fake, son.
Pennsylvania and North Carolina. You win those 3. Else, not really important. Under worse circumstances, you lose all 3 Rust Belt states. You win with either of those states.
All of your you're typing on cheap crap phones made in China. So what are you talking about?
You're at 272.
Keyboard
That is only as long as
warriors.
you win Nevada, though.
Where are the Trump supporters to attack these Harris keyboard warriors? All the Trump supporters, get on the keyboard warriors, the Harris supporters.
And lose the Rust Belts, you would have to take Virginia.
You're just mad about this. You see this? 312 for Donald J. Trump.
Furthermore, another state you might be observing is Maine at large. Maine at large has just very little polling, and Biden won by a fair margin. It is therefore difficult to forecast it towards Trump. Whatever, there is like a few straw polls. Simply said, right now I just cannot do it.
I'm gonna live stream on Tuesday. I'm gonna live stream the election. So if you want to see me cry, all these Democrats saying I'm gonna be crying. I don't give a shit who wins. Not even in the United States. I want Donald J. Trump to win because he's gonna better the world and better the country. But if he doesn't win, I'm not gonna break down and cry like you guys are. Neither of them are gonna make me a trillionaire and get me a Bill Gates level life. So why do I care? Hit the like and subscribe button.
Perhaps it could happen. Clearly, it isn't going to happen. They have, I believe.
I'm not even in the United States. I'm just a citizen. Hit the like and subscribe button. I voted for Trump. Camilla equals World War III.
Harris then wins with 270.
Hey, if Camilla wins on Tuesday, you guys will be drafted, and I will be on an island somewhere living my best life. So I mean, that's really like what happens here. I don't really care.
That would be the situation should she win by shockingly close margins in the Rust Belts, 270 to 268. Either way, right now, I would say Trump 312, winning the popular vote.
I'll be on an island the World War III can't get me.
But guys, for this video that is going to do it,
A monkey could have replaced Biden.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
And you would have voted for it. Hawaii, I'm dumb for voting for Harris after they handled the fires. Yeah, I can't lie. That's crazy. They voted Harris? That's literally insane. Anyone says who best life has an identity crisis? No, I don't have an identity crisis. You're scared to show your face on the internet. You're with a faceless profile. That sounds like an identity crisis. You don't know yourself well enough to put your face online or your name, so you just put a random name and a fake profile picture. No, you don't even have a profile picture. So yeah, that's how Trump won the Electoral College. Are you mad about that? Well, that's how I know you don't get real money. You don't get real money from a job. If you have a successful business or you're an entrepreneur or you work like a really high-level executive or a CEO position, that's where you get money. But shout out all the blue-collar workers. Really love you guys, and you guys are my favorite kind of people to talk to. But I know this guy isn't a blue-collar kind of guy.
See who can reach 270 electoral votes. Griff is over at the touchscreen with more.
Donald Trump will again be the best president of the
And
United
Catherine, we
States.
hear so much about the blue wall, but before I do that, one thing you've heard about is the single electoral vote in Nebraska.
You don't have
It's
bank
Omaha,
money.
it's the city,
You have bank
it is
money. That
officially
means you have
gone
enough
blue.
money to
The
pay your
missing
bills,
part
but you don't
basically
have big
path
money,
270,
like corporate
getting that
executive
one to
business
Harris.
money.
So I'm going to do so now. Starting with the blue
Otherwise,
wall,
if you did,
Wisconsin,
those
Michigan,
kind of rich
Pennsylvania.
people, I
First, let
know
me show you the
millionaires and big
electoral
rich people
numbers. So you've got 19
and
for
billionaires. You
Pennsylvania,
ain't one
15
of them. If
Michigan,
you
10
were,
Wisconsin,
you would literally
Georgia,
not be commenting on my
North
video
Carolina,
like for 30
16,
minutes
Arizona,
straight.
11, Nevada 6. You can see obviously Pennsylvania is the big prize. If Harris wins the blue wall, the famed blue wall, you can see, boom, 270, she gets there. Now take it out and let's see if Trump won the blue wall, which he did in 2016. You would see the math add up.
Billy was like, yeah, bro, I got money in my bank. I got money on my bank. I work for another man. I work for another man. Yeah, I got money. Okay, bro, chill.
Now, I do want to take you back to one thing, though, and that is Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, the blue wall.
Canada for
But
Trump.
Georgia and Arizona, traditionally, the swing states have swung together. In 26, they all went red. In 2020, they all went blue. But it is the
Billy comes off as privileged and unaware of it. Canada for Trump. Harris 2024, stop trolling.
To do is to pick off one of the famed blue wall, and that's what we're looking for to see this year. Will the blue wall
Trump
fracture
2025.
to 1988,
No,
when
not
the
Trudeau,
caucus for
not
Wisconsin,
Trudeau.
But lost Michigan and Pennsylvania when the blue wall.
Now we have
won
Joshua.
that
Any more
exception in
tampons to
2016,
give out?
when Trump carried all
Harris,
three
Harris,
of
Harris.
those. Now, let me go back to
Trump's
Canada
gonna
to
win,
the map
baby.
and look at
And I'm gonna
the
be
states.
dancing.
Let's go with Katie. Give me a state you're watching that you really
Okay.
want to know what's going on.
I am watching Georgia because it is a newer swing state. Took
Fuck
a little
Epstein,
Republican,
cut.
Reliable.
Yep.
But President Trump has lots of unfinished business there. Brian Kemp is a very popular
Canada has a woke
governor
leader
that
now.
likes
We
to get
suck.
senators.
Well, I still
And
love
of
you,
course,
Canada. Just
Georgia
wish you had a little bit
passing
better
all of this
president.
voter integrity
Whatever, prime
legislation
minister,
that
whatever he
has
is.
Massive 55% early voter turnout. So,
And you
as
look-
I was saying,
Trump isn't lost.
last time Trump has.
Well, look at how close.
Diddy, bro,
0.2%.
Diddy for
It was
Harris.
Literally such a tight 10,000 vote count roughly, but then you go to 2016.
Diddy for
you
Harris.
can see how much by 5.7 points that Clinton won. Now, let me take it back. And Guy, give me a state that you're watching here. Hold on, let me go back to this as I knock through this map. Give me a state you're watching.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona is also interesting if we're talking about the Sun Belt states because that was a red state. It went blue just barely for Biden last time. Early voting looking pretty good for Republicans so far. Does he flip it back?
Well,
Thank
that
you
is
guys.
exactly
We're now
what
at
I'm saying. To your
1,700
point,
subscribers. Let's get to
3% in
1,800
2020.
subscribers,
Look at
guys.
2016, what happened there, and it was a much larger one. I'm just going to take this back, if I can, to the main map. And Mary Catherine, give me a state, and we'll round this out.
Trump is gonna beat the
State
case.
of North Carolina. That's
Trump
where
will beat
Trump
the
won
charge.
in 2020.
He's
Got about
innocent.
75K votes. And I got
He's
some
gonna
good
appeal
news.
it.
Trump is there a lot.
He's gonna
Suggesting
appeal the
he did not
case
feel
and
confident
beat it.
about But Kamala Harris has pulled ads at one point, and some really good news for democracy in general is Western North Carolina is keeping up with its
Canadians
early
own
voting.
property and have
Surpassed
family in the
2020.
States.
So
We-
those hard
we have a
voting
say.
are really
Absolutely.
That was a big question. I was in Western North Carolina covering it, and they were worried about the election.
If
Obviously,
Harris
covering it.
wins,
It
play
was
Stoners
obviously
on
Mr.
Fern,
Lee,
episode
1.5
1.
points roughly in
Shit,
2020,
man.
and in 2016,
I guess I got to
it
now.
was 3.8 percentage points. So North Carolina is one of those that remain.
Man, you're absolutely right. I don't have enough viewers yet to donate, but I guess you are hating a bit. But I just started doing these live streams, bro, and I'm about to get monetized. And thanks to you sitting on here and talking crap for the last hour, or no, 44 minutes, I'll be able to monetize and get donations soon. But you probably won't donate when I do. And if you really wanted to donate, you could, man. I got PayPal and other stuff. And all that money would go towards the channel, not Donald Trump. Because I make other videos than political live streams. But it's okay, Billy. I don't need your money. Like I said, you just had that 9-to-5 job. I'm not really trying to take money from you. You sound like you need it.
They give you side
connected combat limbs, setting loose to go out. To me, I say why the US can't simply follow the Australian system of paper ballots counted on the night with an added layer of voter ID check. Well, that's beyond me, but again, that's another story.
Fat
What I
blue,
do think the real
fat
story
boy
is, though,
crab.
and
No, it's
truly
fat
people
blue
are
crab.
doing, is how the Democrats are going to act if it looks like Donald Trump is going to cross the magic threshold of
20 hours a week working from home is not an entrepreneur. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you gotta like work like 100 hours a week, buddy. That's just a side hustle. 20 hours a week is a side hustle.
Really clear here. Quite simply, it's not
That's how I know you're a liberal. You think 20 hours a week is a business. If you want a business, you gotta work more than 20 hours a week. That's just a side hustle.
No. Instead,
That's not an
it's the
entrepreneur.
Democrats. And if you listen, they're telling us loud and clear.
I'm just being
what
realistic.
They intend to do. What's going to happen here is a multi-step plan, and it is already underway now. Step one, of course, is
Billy Ted still probably lives in his mom's basement eating peanut butter sandwiches. Oh no, absolutely. You're probably right. I actually live on my own and I have my own apartment. I mean, I'll even show you guys around in here if you want. But I don't live at home like freaking Billy.
This is what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have been
Your
saying
main
about
hustle is
the
20 hours a week.
argument
That's
in the
sad,
campaign.
man. That's sad. You gotta hustle more than that.
From John Kelly's words, that Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascists. Who in fact
I don't live on an island. I live in Spain. But I'm saying if there's World War III, I could just go to an island and live there.
To carry out his personal and political vendettas.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Donald Trump's got this big rally going.
That's
at
horrible,
Madison
man.
Square
That
Garden.
ain't right. That's not true. That's freaking lies. That ain't right, man. Who's repeating stuff other people say? Yes, what's wrong with foreigners, guys? Foreigners are good if they come in legally in the right way. But if they come in illegally, that's horrible. I can't lie.
Esta es Paula. Este es Víctor.
Este es Victor.
La plancha por hacer planchas. Es la única arruga que conoces.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. This will be my final 2024 election official prediction, where I predict every single state. I will be leaving the swing states blank when I first fill this out, going from the western side of the United States to the eastern side, and then we'll be taking a look at the major swing states. Obviously, when it comes to the election, there are a lot of obvious states. I'll give my take on some potential margins in these states. Some of them matter more than others.
Of course, we always make money while we sleep, but we're still going to work more than 20 hours a week because we're not a lazy sack of shit. If we're only working 20 hours a week, I can do that work in one day and sleep the rest 4 hours and get up the next day. Why do I need a week to work 20 hours? I'll just do that in one day. I'll work for 20 hours straight and I'll go to sleep for 4 hours.
Less than 2020, but Biden won it by 27. I think it'll be about 20 or 21 in terms of Harris winning it, maybe a 22-23. I'm going to leave Nevada blank. Obviously, we're going to go to Idaho. Donald Trump will very easily win Idaho. Trump will very easily
20 hours of how to apply a tampon. Oh, that boy got decimated.
In 2020, if he wins it by 18, 19 points, it's going to be impossible for Sheehy to lose. Wyoming, Donald Trump will win very easily. North Dakota, Donald Trump will win very easily. South Dakota, Donald Trump will win very easily.
Just like Mike Lindell, my pillow full of shit.
I'm going to leave the second district blank. That's the swing state right now, or the swing district, I guess I should say.
You're full of
Kansas
shit.
will be going to Donald Trump. There was kind of an interesting poll out of Kansas that had Trump only up by 5. And there's been the narrative that Kansas is turning more liberal, but Trump's still going to win it. And I think it's going to be by more than 5. Oklahoma will be going to Donald Trump.
Because he gets a government check. So if he works more than 20 hours a week, he loses his free checks.
The margin will be more than 2020 by about 5.8. It looks like he might win by about 7 or 8, which is huge considering the migration to Texas.
Okay, Josh. Joseph, that's so funny.
Obviously, Alaska will be going to Trump. We'll see what the margin is. The margin might be surprisingly close, maybe 8 or 9. I mean, I think it was 10 in 2020. Maybe it'll get exaggerated out to 12 or 13. Who knows? Hawaii will be going to Kamala. She will also be taking Colorado. When it comes to Colorado, it was almost a swing state back in 2016. You've seen a ton of liberals come to the state. I think it's going to be at least a 12 or a 13-point win for Harris, honestly. Utah will be going to Donald Trump. We will leave New Mexico blank.
Billy, I can't stop laughing. They won't stop making fun of you.
So there is some potential wiggle room there. I'm going to expand and give more of an in-depth thought on that. When it comes to it, Louisiana, Trump's going to win very easily. Arkansas, Trump's going to win.
That's because Billy is soft. Billy needs to work less than 20 hours a week to collect his government welfare.
Easily, Trump's going to win. Iowa, Donald Trump should win by, I would say, at least 8 or 9 points. We're going to leave Minnesota blank. We're going to leave Wisconsin blank. We do have Illinois, which Kamala Harris will
You're
win.
an Osvaldo, Billy.
11 or 12, I would say, maybe a little bit more than that. But it will be a tighter margin, just like a lot of these liberal states in 2024 than it was in 2020. That's why we're seeing the popular vote potentially shift.
You already said it was 20 hours, bro. You can't change it now. You already told us it was 20 hours. Whatever makes you feel better.
Alabama, Trump will easily win. Florida is another state. 2020, it was a swing state. Now it's not. Donald Trump, the clear favorite in Florida. The only question is, what will the margin be? I'm thinking it's around at least 8 or 9 points. You look at the early voting indicators. You look at the voter registration with Republicans having about a 7 to an 8 point advantage.
Angelo actually put Fat Blue Crab.
In 2020, going for Trump in the state of Florida.
Someone in here already put money on Trump winning. He bet $110 that Trump would win. That will pay him $200 back. No, he bet 120. It'll pay him $200 back.
I think Trump's going to overperform the polls, even though they already say.
Billy, you're not going to send nothing. You're going to be crying like a baby. You're going to join my live stream, then you're going to never see. Then you're never going to go online again.
North Carolina and Virginia blank. We do have West Virginia going to Trump. We do have Ohio going to Trump. There was an interesting poll that I saw. There's rumors of an Ohio Trump +3. It's absolutely ridiculous. Donald Trump won Ohio in a much worse environment in 2020 by 8 points. It's not apples to apples in terms of, maybe there are states that swing to the left, but Trump going from a +8 to a +3 in 2024 in a much better environment, more favorable conditions for him. It's just ridiculous. He's been up in most of the polls in Ohio by around 6 to 7 points. I think he's going to end up winning.
Yes,
Ohio.
you do. You'll be crying, Billy, when Harris doesn't win. You'll say, damn it, I won't have tampons in the bathroom anymore. You'll start crying.
We do have Indiana going to Donald Trump.
Desada Argentinas en verdad odia los Latinos
Leaving Michigan blank, leaving Pennsylvania
from Argentinas,
New York, which is a state
and the
that
truth
some
hate
Republicans have talked
Latinos
about.
in the United
Is
States.
this swing state? Could it potentially happen? It's not going to happen.
I don't
it's
know.
Be about a 13-point victory for Harris in New York. That's a significant.
Shout out
cut.
Argentina,
We
though.
saw Biden win by 23. It goes down to 13, but it's not going to be a Trump victory, and I don't think it'll be within single-digit range. Moving on to New Hampshire, that's another state I'll leave blank right now. It's kind of turned into a swing state. You do have Vermont, obviously.
You don't have AI models, Billy Ted.
New Jersey, which
AI takes a lot more time than 20 hours a week, buddy.
Won it by about 20, but it's going to be cut significantly. Both New Jersey and
Billy,
New York,
no one
Trump's going
cares.
to make up big ground when it comes to the popular vote. Not that the popular vote matters a ton, but it is something, if you are the Republicans, considering how many times you've lost it, you would like to get that. You do also have Delaware, which Kamala Harris will win, Maryland, D.C., Rhode Island, as well as Massachusetts, all very obvious states that Kamala Harris will win. When you're talking about Maine,
Hey guys, we need to get Billy in the right state of mind. Everyone
the
get...
Maine at-large is interesting. I do want to talk about it. I do think, though, you can argue, is it a swing state, is it not? There's just no polling, or there's very little polling in Maine. There was some very
I'm in Europe right now. I'm loving it, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm already in Europe. I don't gotta buy no ticket to go there.
By 8. I'm not saying Trump's going to win Maine at-large by 8. It's a state he lost in 2020. But I think that it's probably going to be closer than people think, just because there's very limited polling out of Maine in general. When it comes to the
Everyone
first
pay
district,
respects
that's a
for
lot
Billy
more
down in the
When it comes to
chat.
the
He's a
second
really
district,
cool
it would very
guy.
likely go to Trump. The first district's more of a lock.
Everyone
The
pay
second
respects
district
for
is Trump,
Billy.
But that's very likely how those electoral
I
votes
don't
end up
care
getting
who
split.
wins.
I'm
My
also gonna
bank
do the
account
other
is about to
electoral
look
vote,
like
the
a
second
phone
district in
number.
Nebraska.
You probably
It is
still
very
live
likely to
paycheck
go
to
to Kamala Harris,
paycheck.
possibly by 7
No,
or
I
8
don't. I
points
live at
over
home,
that.
but
That is the
I hope you're talking to
Omaha
Billy,
region,
not
Omaha
me.
area, and
I
it's
live
just a small
not at home. I
populated
live by
area.
myself.
Obviously, considering it's just one district, and Harris, it seems the district swung more left in terms of the population. So she will win that, or I would expect her to win that. But now we're going to go through all of the swing states. Some of these are fringe, some of these are actual swing states, but we're going to go here and give my official prediction. When it comes to Nevada, I do think Donald Trump will very slightly win Nevada, possibly winning by less than a point. It might be the closest major swing state out of the 7 that the media talks about. But Donald Trump, I would expect, based off of polling, based off of even recent history, we saw Republicans make up ground in 2020, only lose by 2.5, and we saw relatively good polls in terms of their accuracy in 2020. Well, now the polls say Donald Trump's up by around 1. We've seen polls like the Atlas poll where Trump's up by 4. Nevada is trending to Trump. There was great early vote numbers in Clark County. Republicans maintain those good early vote numbers as we're heading into Election Day where they've got an advantage. I think Trump narrowly wins Nevada. It is only 6 electoral votes. It would be the least important major swing state out of the 7, but I do think Donald Trump wins that state there. It's going to be very close. This is the one you could argue it's about 50-50 right now. I mean, you could argue several of them are 50-50, but Nevada, it's hard to get a total read on. I am giving it to Donald Trump. Moving on to Arizona, that is another state I think Donald Trump will win by a little bit bigger of a margin than Nevada. I'm thinking around 3.5 points, which could potentially help Kerry Lake win by maybe 0.5 point when it comes to the Senate. But when it comes to Arizona, Donald Trump is up in all the polls. He's the favorite at this point. He's been the favorite, I would say, for 2 months now. It seems like liberals have given up Arizona within the past month to month and a half. And it does feel very, very likely that Donald Trump will take that state.
What are you guys saying about
Arizona
Billy?
Polls, they underperformed Trump. I think they
He likes
underpolled
peanuts
Trump
and pickle
back in 2020
butter.
very slightly. Well, now they've got Trump.
Gotta hit that like and sub, y'all.
All of them. I think Arizona.
He likes pickles and peanut butter.
The campaign has given up Arizona, and to some degree Nevada as well, as they're focused more on maybe in North Carolina along with the Rust Belt. I think Donald Trump ends up winning Arizona.
They're just talking about how he
New
likes
Mexico, that is a state that I
He
do
likes
think
peanut
Kamala
butter
Harris
and
is able to hold
pickles.
onto, possibly by around 4 or 5 points. I do think it might be closer than people expect. It's a border state. I think Trump's going to do better.
Guys, I just gotta move the camera
Trump
back a
having
little bit for the
rally
live stream, so hold
on
on.
Halloween there, that's going to help a little bit, but overall I don't think it's going to be enough to make up the difference. And you do have some people concerned, why go to New Mexico, go out of your way there, doesn't really make sense. Their internal polls must be a lot better. I saw Rasmussen, Harris +5. I've seen other New Mexico polls. They've all been around 5 or 6 point leads for Kamala. I think she ends up holding the state when it comes to that. I just can't do it. When it comes to Minnesota, Minnesota could be a surprisingly close state. I do think Kamala Harris ends up hanging on to Minnesota, probably by around 4 points would be my guess, maybe 5 points. It's a state that will get closer for sure. It was a swing state back in 2016. It was a 1 point difference. And honestly, it wouldn't totally shock me if it went to Trump. It's like one of those extra swing states. It's like we think Virginia, Minnesota, and New Hampshire is the extra swing states. But I do think Kamala Harris is able to hold on to Minnesota and win that possibly by around a 3 or a 4 point margin when it comes to that. Now, looking at Georgia, this is another state I think Donald Trump wins. I don't want to say comfortably, but I think it's going to be around 3.5 to 4 point victory there. We've got very accurate polls out of Georgia. The Georgia polls have been accurate in the past 2 Trump cycles, and they've got Trump sitting right around +3 in terms of the aggregate. Trump looks very good right now in Georgia and Arizona. It would be extremely surprising at this point if he lost either of those states. And that's why I think the Harris campaign is mainly shifted, and you're seeing a bigger narrative talking about her sweeping the Rust Belt or potentially also taking a North Carolina, although it's mainly based around the Rust Belt. When you look at North Carolina, it is another state I do think Donald Trump will win. Donald Trump won the state in 2020 and 2016 under much worse conditions, especially in 2020. He only won it by 1.3. It was closer. It was 2 points closer than 2016, and that's what they'll argue. It got closer. Why can't it flip now? And I do think the state is getting slightly more liberal when you talk about the migration into it from the more expensive states that people are moving out of, like in New York, down to North Carolina. But I think Trump will be able to usurp that because of his popularity improving over the last 4 years. There's a ton of nostalgia when it comes to Trump when you look at his approval rating and what people think it is now, back, based off of the 4 years when he was in power. And I think if Trump's able to win this state in 2016 and 2020, even with potentially more liberals now being in the state over the last 4 years, it's not going to make up for the Trump gaining more popularity in the state in 2016 and 2020.
Billy! Show everyone Billy!
To a 3-point victory. He won it in 2016 by 3 points. He won it in 2020 by 1 point. I think he goes back up to about 2.5-point victory.
Okay, let's. Oh, good point. I'll play that video, guys. Yeah, the PPD video.
Liberal argument at this point.
Yeah, I'll play that.
For Harris would be Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. But we will be took.
Hell yeah, I love Elon Musk.
When it comes to Virginia,
honestly, I love Elon more than I love Trump. But PPD, Trump. Let's see what's up. Is this the video you're talking about? Elon is the GOAT.
Like Maricopa County said, we need 10 or 12 days. You have to do that with Pennsylvania. You have to do that with Georgia. If they don't do that, this is done if they don't do that. They have a terrible candidate.
But if you were to take it back, say you were the nominee for the Democrats right now, I think their strategy of calling him Hitler, branding him a Nazi, all this stuff, insulting his supporters and stuff, none of that obviously has worked. But if you were trying to pick him off...
You really want me to give you a dark strategy?
Well, yeah. How would you have taken on Trump?
If you can get one of his kids to come out and do an interview with Anderson Cooper on why Ivanka chose to not be that public about it, and you have to pay them $500 million to agree to do this interview, even though I know for a fact they won't do it. You have to either do that. It can't be the Michael Cohen. They posted a picture today of a boat with the flags. Oh, look at the boat here. What do you think about this, Ivanka and Jared Kushner? We know that Soros, with the money that he's spending, and you get the video, that's very effective for you to post it out and go viral. It'll persuade some small percentage of people. You got to get Marla. You got to get Ivanka. You got to get somebody super, super close on the inside, and it's just not going to work. Outside of that, think about the...
I showed Trump's last rally yesterday.
The fact that President Trump has gone all these different podcasts. Who goes on these types of podcasts? So what do you think about this? I said, this is called disruption and destroying you. The mainstream media, the strategy that he's taken, going and talking to the average day-to-day people, and she's not doing it right. He's having those types of conversations. I think they have to really, really find a dark strategy to be able to pull this off. And I just don't think they're going to pull it off, because they got what? They got Beyonce, they got Taylor Swift, they got now Arnold Schwarzenegger today announced that he's endorsing Kamala. They got all these celebrities, Steph Curry, they got all of those guys. They got every one of these guys. Trump converts and gets Bobby. Tulsi goes the other side. Elon Musk, who's maybe the #1 voice name in media, and he's not even in media, but he's got the biggest weight as a name. Beyonce's not in that league. They're competitors. So if you look at Musk is on the side, Musk is Mark Cuban. Musk wins. If you go on this and think about Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi, who is their Bobby? Who went from...
No one dropped off Trump's team, but great joke.
They have nobody. So matchup to matchup, they're Obama. Obama's the other
Thank you.
thing. He just looks...
Bless you, mate. You're calling me mate. No one in the U.S. says mate. Where are you from? You're not even inside the USA. There's no way you would say mate if you were from the USA. I live in Spain and I travel around the world. I know.
Here's what I'm a man, you're a man. We both will know this feeling. And there's 3 situations where I believe the opposition can feel desperation. 3 situations that I can talk about. First one, when a man is desperate for a girl, and she feels it, she knows body language and eyes and the way we talk. She feels this guy's desperate for me. It's unattractive, right? In sales, if I come and try to sell you a house or a policy or a gym membership, you will feel, based on my desperation, if I'm going to need to pay my bills and I really need this commission check. You will feel a desperate salesperson. You know what third one is? in politics, when you try to become desperate to win a vote, Obama, Michelle, Kamala, all of them look like a desperate salesperson that needs the commission, but no one's buying.
Yes.
That's
Ha, I knew you weren't even from the U.S. Have fun when you can't vote.
First of all, his qualities. Tell me the qualities that make him such an effective political animal, which is what he is.
Did you watch the recent movie that came out about Trump, The Hit?
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it? You should watch it. I watched it twice in the first week. And the reason why I watch it twice in the first week is I like to know what the enemy thinks about, more than my allies. We went the other day and watched a documentary that was all pro-Trump from the beginning to the end. And unfortunately, I don't want to hear that because we already know the good stuff, right? I want to know what angles you're going to take me out. I'm interested in that. When you watch this movie, 17 million.
I know Billy's either from Australia or
1.4
Britain.
million that they make.
And that he lives in his mother's basement and eats peanut butter sandwiches. But other than that, I don't know too much about him.
The acting, I thought, was phenomenal. I got to give credit to the acting. But there's a scene about Roy Cohn. And the reason why I've studied Roy over the years is because I've interviewed the Sammy DeBoll, the Michael Francis, the Frank Collada, the Phil Leonetti, who was the former underboss of the Philadelphia crime family. He called me one day and says, I want you to interview me. But
Yeah, I know people with money aren't like Billy. They don't sit on the comments leaving stupid comments trolling people.
Is Roy. Roy was a heavyweight back in the days. And there's a scene that says, hey, if you want to win,
Billy's from Australia or the UK. He doesn't live in the USA. I can tell by the way he talks.
Always claim victory, never accept loss.
So just ignore the dumb old troll that lives in his mother's basement.
Always do that.
Sitting on the throne. You watch Game of Thrones, you nerdy bastard in your mother's basement eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Pierce that we look at.
You should be ashamed,
Kobe
Billy.
Modeled his game after who? Michael, right? You know, LeBron modeled his game after Scotty and Magic. Certain players you're looking like, they didn't model their game after anybody, right? Hey, I want to be like Ronald Reagan, so they speak like Ronald Reagan and they're very polished and diplomatic, all this other stuff. Every 100 years, a guy shows up that's not like anybody else. Kamala is like everybody else, right? He is like nobody else. It's attractive, it's different, it pisses people off, it creates envy, it creates agitation. And those are his strengths on what he's doing. In regards to the area that hurts him, at this point, anything that hurts him is already been exposed. So it's no longer as effective as it was.
As a leader, what are his character flaws, do you think? I mean, well, if you were advising him, if he wins on Tuesday and he gets another 4 years, my own gut feeling, having known him a long time, is that he'll be thinking more about legacy second time.
I want to say this to you, and I hope their team sees this, because let's go and talk deception after he wins. November 5th, every odd says he's winning. Kamala's got 80 billionaires that are endorsing her. He's only got 50 billionaires, right? Kamala's got all of Hollywood and all these guys. He doesn't have those guys. He's got the podcasters. He's got the day-to-day people. He's getting the young male. He's getting the young African-American. It's the biggest plus-minus ever since 1964. But there's one thing that we have to be thinking about. Let's go November 6th. Let's assume it's November 6th he wins, okay? We're in a room like this, and it's 10 of us. We're all the establishment left, Democrats, and some of the establishment right, that want to do everything we can to now identify 2028, right? It's kind of like World Cup. You lost, we already got to plan 2028, what's going to happen, right? Or whatever, 2026. Today, the most hated man by the establishment, number one, is Trump. Number two is Musk today. November 6th, you know who's going to be the most hated man November 6th? Number one will be Musk. Number two will be J.D. Vance. Number three will be Trump. Why? I'll give you my thoughts on this. The reason why they'll be over Trump is because it's a one-term president. They're not going to be worried about him. J.D. Vance, the way he's been doing interviews the last 2, 3, 4 months, the way he fought Tim Walz, where you walked away saying, this guy got Tim to like him. And they were able to build a certain level of camaraderie. And then he goes up with a fight with Jake Tapper, puts him in his place. Then he's go with Dana. Then he knows how to go with Theo Vaughn and laugh his ass off. And every different place you put him on, he's doing, well, I think he's doing Joe Rogan today, if I'm not mistaken. They're going to try to do the following, and this is what's going to hurt. Let's say you're J.D. Vance, mainstream media, CNN, whoever it is, and J.D.'s doing an interview. Hey, J.D., how do you feel about the fact that everybody now is saying that you're the president and you are telling President Trump what to do? You're not the vice president. Why are they going to do that? If they do that and it triggers something with Trump and there's the split, they win. That is the deception game that's going to be played to try to pin those guys together. And if the president can still find a way to edify, yet protect in a way where JD stays humble, and if JD can find a way to stay bulletproof and not buy into the fact that everybody behind closed doors is going to say, it's because of you, you're the one that's making it happen, all this other stuff, and he stays humble about it, then JD may win 2028 and 2032. I think Vivek's going to be there. I think a lot of people, I think 2020 is going to be very, very competitive. But I think that's the way you divide them. You have to go after, and the reason why Musk becomes number one is because if you put a bar and you look at the timeline for bars, Trump's is going to be 4 years, okay? JD is going to be 12 years, but Musk is going to be 30 years. That's why Musk is number one. That's why JD is number two hated man, November 6th, and third will be Trump. They're going to go try to find a way to destroy Elon and JD Vance because those guys will be around for a couple of decades.
When you had Trump on your podcast, it was a fascinating listen, but what did you make of him when you were interacting with him one-on-one?
One of the things about when you're doing business with when you're communicating with a businessman, there's a dealing, right? Meaning if we do a deal together and I'm paying you $2 million, okay, and you're asking for 3 years, but I put a bonus on the back end that if we do XYZ peers, you're going to get another $5 million, right? And you call me, your lawyers call me, my lawyers call you, they're going back and forth. And then it gets very tough with the negotiation. Let's just say we're 2 weeks away from finalizing it. We haven't signed a contract. I call you, I'm like, hey, Piers, do you want to do this deal? Pat, I want to find a way to make this work. Okay, you say, do you want me at valuetainment? I said, of course I want you at valuetainment. No problem, fantastic. Let's find a way to get these lawyers to work. Lawyers do their thing, good, deal in, fantastic. Let's go on a run and take over the world, right? You're driven to get your $5 million bonus based...
Tía Sara. Perdón.
Based on markers to hit. I'm driven to help you succeed. I'm not going to backstab you because I want you to hit those numbers. You're not going to backstab me. You're going to defend me because you want me to make sure I give you the best thing, the resources. That's not how it works in politics. When you look at politics, it's a very different game on what they're going to be doing. So it's a very different game that he's going to be playing. And that negotiation part, when you're going through, hey, how about if we do this? And how about if we do that? How about if we do this deal? It's a very different game. It's a very different game.
How significant has his podcast strategy been this time around to go and do you and to go and do Joe Rogan?
And that's what I'm saying. When you talk to him, it's a business guy. So his answer, if you push too hard and like, hey, here's what I like to do. What I'm asking you is I'm asking you specifically about this. And he'll say, what are you asking about? It's about this. Let's stay on this. My question is this. Okay. And he'll come back and he'll fight it or push back or do his thing. But you're talking to a man's man. It's business. It's transaction. It's negotiation. He's been in a lot of different settings for him to do that. I think the strategy they took, credit, I think, goes to Bobby Kennedy. I think Bobby gets the credit. I think Vivek and Bobby really took it to the next level when you notice Bobby was everywhere. He came in our podcast 2020, the first time around.
No, I've had him on 6-7 times.
I'm sure you've had him on many times. Well, he's been on many different places before he was with me. I'm just saying for us, he debated Alan Dershowitz. I'm like, this was great. I asked 2 questions. They went at it for an hour and a half. And then you saw Bobby on Joe the first time when Joe says, I'm not going to lie to you. At first when I thought about you, I thought you were cuckoo. I thought you were this, that, that. And then I read the book. I'm like, no, this guy's actually legit. And then that podcast blew up and other people had him on. And then all of a sudden, like, wait a minute, you can actually, and he announced he's running for president. Like, wait, who's running for president? This entire time when you wrote this case against Anthony Fauci, this was your plan of running for president to go up against Fauci and the establishment? What a and then boom, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 10%. And then Vivek comes up. Vivek's on my podcast. And I'm talking to him and I'm like, wait a minute. This guy wrote a book called about woke media. He sounds like he wants to run. He leaves. A couple weeks later, he announces he's running for president. That moment when he came on the podcast, he had 40,000 followers on Twitter, okay? And we were looking at Mike Pence. We were looking at everybody with the data followership. Fast forward a year later, 2 million followers, whatever his number is right now, Skyrocket. He's everywhere right now with Vivek. Trump realized, I'm going to go on these podcasts. Trump going on Joe Rogan, he got twice as many views as all of Kamala's interviews combined from one podcast. Theo, funny. You saw a different side of Trump. Schultz crushed it. Phenomenal podcast. Nelk Boys, Full
Facts.
Send, those guys, Cal, they do a great job. Us, business, different. Bloomberg fighting tariffs. You don't know what you're talking about with tariffs. I've seen what you said for 30 years. You watch this and you realize people right now are going like this. This is what they're looking at. They're driving in the car watching. You're no longer watching cable TV, not the audience you want. So I think 2028, Pierce, is going to be the Super Bowl of candidates realizing we have to go through them. And when Kamala was negotiating with Rogan and said, hey, we'll give you an hour, fly out to us and all this, very elitist, come to us. We'll let you interview Kamala. Where Trump's like, I'll come to you in Austin. I'll give you the 3 hours. Then I'll get on a plane. Then I'll go to Michigan. I'll be 3 hours late, but I'll still give my talk at midnight. When he came to us, by the way, we sat down. There was a moment in the middle of the podcast. Sam has texted me 50 times. Hey, their team's telling them they got to go. They got to go. They got to go. I'm like, what do you mean they got to go? So I paused. I'm like, hey, guys, let's just pause this real quick for a second. We didn't put this clip out there, so let's pause it for a second. So what's that? I said, if you don't mind, President, what are we doing? I said, there's 9 of them in front of me, and 2 of my guys are. I said, what are we doing? Are we going to do this or are we not going to do this? You guys are texting me saying, stop. You've given me 90 minutes. You were 45 minutes late. What are we doing with this interview? And this is all you saw. He sat there and he says, what do I have? You saw this, right? What do we have? What do we have? Move this to this, move that to this, move this to this. We're going to give you that time. Let's go through. I'm really enjoying this. And then we went.
Billy, what was the coolest thing you learned?
And it was great. That's the kind of stuff where a negotiator driver is not the elitist. Here's a billionaire that's partied with everybody.
I put it in the chat for you, so tell us, Billy, what was the coolest thing you learned this week, buddy?
He knew everyone. He did deals with everyone. And on the other side of Kamala, who's claims she grew up in a middle-class family, saying, you come to us, Joe, and we'll give you an hour. I hope she does the podcast with Joe. But if she does do it, you know it's going to be embarrassing. She's not going to be able to last for 2 or 3 hours.
What do you make of the attacks on Trump being the new...
A commercial. So let me know where you go. Oh, sorry. I clicked the mute button. Check out OpenBCI. It's an open source brain reading device. I'm a 3D printing my own. Still trying to get all the parts. I was talking to the government team working on it. OpenBCI. Okay, I'll take a picture of it and look it up. But yeah, that sounds cool. But how do you make money with that? What do you use that for? I mean, you seem like a smart guy in some ways. But if you want to talk business and making money, you know, I have a Discord. It's completely free. I have bankers in there. I'm getting a few doctors and investors to join in there. And yeah, it's like a free Discord where we discuss business, stocks, and other kind of ideas. You're welcome to join there. I mean, it's completely free at the Discord. Do you work in the medical field? Because people in my family, some of them do. With medical devices and medical device manufacturers and salespeople. So maybe we could do business or maybe we could team up on something. But yeah, just reach out to me in the Discord. I love to talk to you guys one-on-one in the Discord.
The current sitting president
Link in bio.
says Trump voters are a bunch of what?
Garbage.
You said
Yeah, we do a lot of the medical stuff in Florida.
You say Nazi? You
With
think this
with
is
surgery
a
centers and
powerful
stuff like
position?
that and selling of medical
you've
equipment.
already lost the argument on what you're doing. And the more they do that, the average person's watching this and saying, man, I'm a Democrat.
So join the Discord. We can discuss
This
business.
is embarrassing. What are you doing to me?
You seem all right too,
It's
Billy.
easy for me to vote for you. I think it's just a failed strategy and desperation.
You have 2 mantras. Future looks bright, only the paranoid survive. Let's start with the paranoia. What should we be paranoid about after this election is resolved?
A lot of things. I mean, we have to be worried about, you saw what happened the other day. Story came out, the fact that Venezuela and Iran are united against the West. So Venezuela and Iran are united.
3
against
free
the West.
3D printers?
Iran
Dang, that is pretty
supposed
cool.
to- You got
whether
There's
it's
stuff I want to
Russia,
build with
whether
the
it's,
3D printers, but I can't
China
really
for
say.
25 years. So we have to be careful what's going to be going over there. We have to then realize what's going to happen with the immigration that we have. We have to deport people. I mean, there's no question about it.
Billy, do you think we have
deport people.
to?
So the manipulation to say, well, the separation of family and kids and parents and all this stuff. So that manipulation is going to come here hardcore with gaslighting. So we have to not fall for that gamification that's going to take place. And an economy, we have to kind of go back to the basic fundamentals of the economy with tariffs. There's a lot of debate right now on both sides on tariffs. Do you do it? Do you not do it? You look at trade surplus and trade deficits, right? Okay. So the way to explain that, a lot of people, when you say tariffs, what is a tariff? What is a trade surplus? What is a trade deficit? I don't really know what all this stuff is. Here's all it is. Let's say you and I, peers, are in sales. You sell real estate, I sell auto insurance, okay? We're in London. And we meet at a networking event. You've been in the business 5 years, I've been in the business 5 years. I say to you, peers, why don't you and I, you're successful, I'm successful, you send me referrals, I send you referrals. Deal? Deal.
Then we make
no
millions.
Problem. If people want to buy homes, I'll send it to you. If people want to buy auto insurance, send it my way. Great. 6 months goes by. You gave me 5 referrals, I've given you 0. No problem. 2 years goes by. You've given me 200 referrals, I've given you 10. 5 years goes by. You've given me 1,100 referrals, I've given you 100. What are you asking yourself at this point? How much longer are you going to give me referrals? I'm winning, I'm making money, but I'm not giving you any of it, right? US, our trade deficit is at $1.1 trillion. That means we've given the world more business than they've given us. Number one is China, then it's Germany. China's trade surplus is $840 billion. The world has given China $840 billion more than China has given to others. Number two is Germany. Germany is around 240. Someone has to go and sit down with these guys and have the conversation and say, hey, let's just say I'm the guy that gets the job. Hey, how you doing? Great, fantastic. Hey, this is Patrick David. I'm representing the president. I notice our surplus is XYZ. We have a new plan we call the XYZ Initiative. I'd like to come and meet with you in the Treasury, whatever it is. We have to make a decision. We have 3 options. Number one, we announce tariffs, and it'll incrementally keep going up every month. Number two, you have to choose to buy from us the same amount that we're giving to you. And we'll give you 30 industries to buy from. We need you to buy $200 billion of stuff committed every single year, from automotive, from this, from that, from this. You do that, we don't have any problem. You don't, tariffs are coming your way. How would you like to meet sometime next week? We're on our way. We call the 30 countries that we're giving you more business than you're giving us. We come to you, great, can we do a deal? Love to try your food. I'd love to try what you have going on. Fantastic, deal is good, send us business, buy from these folks. We have to stay strong there. Jim Jordan was on my podcast yesterday, and one thing when I asked Jim Jordan, I said, you know how Twitter files took place, and we learned about the communication that Twitter was having with Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's camp was saying, take this down. Don't let this Hunter Biden story stay. New York Post, all this stuff that was going on. And then Elon Musk shows it to us what's going on, to the point that Mark Zuckerberg 4 months ago had to write that letter to Honorable Chairman Jim Jordan and say, hey, I apologize the fact that we were asked to do this, and even though we had the choice not to do, we chose to do it. Biggest mistake of my life. I'm choosing not to support anybody, all this other stuff, right? I asked Jim, what can we do?
What will get more views if I show the Electoral College?
DOJ files, IRS files, CIA files. What if we hire somebody that goes and investigates
Ciro Plena, I agree as well.
And shows us exactly what's going on and tell the world, what do you think we need to do for that time? He says, well, Trump can't do that. I said, who do you think he needs to fire? He says, he needs to fire everybody and then some. I said, what do you mean by it? He says, he needs to fire some people that he can't even fire. He should fire those guys. I said, really? He says, yes. Because the people that are in there that don't love America, that don't look at us as number one, maybe are helping out other people, we have to realize these people that are on the inside don't love America, you got to be gone. And if you're another country that you hate America, we don't need to do business together moving forward.
Fascinating. I mean, it could be very transformative, this second Trump term, particularly if he's being advised by people like Elon Musk, who've gone in and said we can take $2 trillion off the government spending and everything else. We probably could, given what he did at Twitter.
By the way, if they go in and they pull that off,
¿Mejor o peor?
Mucho mejor.
Guys, hit the like and subscribe button. I think we'll play the Electoral College now because, like, I don't know, you guys don't seem too entertained with this Patrick David video. Just curious to see if this would actually get a bit more views. Let's see how Harris could win. I don't know how she could.
So much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I can't believe I'm finally saying it, but we are in the home stretch here. There's one weekend that separates us between now and Election Day, and there are some new Emerson College polls showing a tight race in some of those key battleground states. Harris is slightly ahead of Trump in Nevada. Trump is up by 1 point in Michigan. Read the tea leaves for us. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that there are only, 4 days left until Election Day. But yeah, so we're getting some late data here out of Nevada and Michigan. So, I think the overall picture is that things have not shifted much. We see Harris is up by 1 in Nevada. We see Trump up by 1 in Michigan. It's very similar to numbers we had in September. We are going to be doing one more final round of the 7 swing states. So that's for release on Monday. But looking at these polls, again, not too much has changed. In Nevada, I think it's worth looking at the early votes. So Harris is at about 50%, Trump at 47%. That's according to our data. And again, that is a lower sample size, so there is a higher margin.
Nah, he is waxing that thing for sure.
The campaign, and I would really want to see that number a little bit higher in Nevada. We do see, as we always do, a gender split: 52% of men backing Trump, 52% of women backing Harris. This isn't quite as pronounced as it is in some states where it's more like 55% men for Trump and vice versa. Looking at Michigan, we see that independents are effectively split, 47% for Trump, 45% for Harris. Again, not much change here. It's just a little bit of slippage overall for Harris, I'd say. So we look at that early vote. Again, we see 60% for Harris, 40% for Trump. I think that that's a pretty solid number for Harris. I think she's got to feel pretty good about that heading into Election Day, but realizing that on Election Day, there will be a lot more Republicans voting.
If anyone can look at a calendar, we are now in November, so we are out of October, out of a potential October surprise. Is it normal to see the polls not really moving in the last couple of weeks, maybe month or so, until the election?
Guys, I love Mario. Just kidding.
Yeah, I think we do. We do tend to see some movement in the final weeks. Normally, we would see movement from undecided mostly to one or the other candidate, barring some major news story, in which case one candidate might lose some support. We saw that in 2016. Some point to 2016, at least, with the Comey announcement moving folks away from Hillary Clinton. We haven't really seen that here. I think that the fact that early voting has expanded as much as it has in a lot of these states, and absentee ballots included in that, people are voting earlier, they're making up their minds earlier, and frankly, both candidates are very well known. It's not as if they went through a hard-fought primary. So, yeah, I think this is a unique election here. But I think for Harris, she certainly had more to define. And we can see in some of the favorability ratings in these states that she might have a little bit higher ceiling than the top line numbers indicate. But whereas Trump is a complete known commodity, everybody knows who he is, everybody more or less knows what he stands for. So this is a unique election, but very few undecided here. Folks are have pretty much made up their minds.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit more because as we've talked about in these 7 swing states, they're going to be deciding this election. And as you said, Donald Trump is a known commodity. He was president. You can't talk about an American election in the past decade without bringing up Donald Trump. So there aren't that many undecideds in this in these 2 states. But so are you saying this is going to come out really to turn out? Are there swing voters? How many independents are there? What's that look like?
Yeah, there certainly are swing voters, independents. As we saw in Michigan, independents are virtually tied between Trump and Harris. It's a similar story in Nevada, very close between independents. So yeah, there are swing voters out there, and we only get a very small sliver of undecided in our state polling right now. And there's only so much that we can say about that because it's such a small number of folks. There would be an astronomically high margin of error, but that still translates to several thousand votes in these states. So, and looking at the historical elections, 2020, 2016, those elections were decided by less than 50,000 votes across a few different states. So, they are out there.
All right, guys, that's it for right now. I might go live tonight, but we'll see. Or if not tomorrow, in the morning show. So check out the morning show tomorrow and on Tuesday and the election day. So hit the like and subscribe button. Talk directly one-on-one with me in the Discord. There's a lot of free info in there and business and stock discussions with bankers and other people. But yeah, hit the like and subscribe button and share.